So the thing with Republicans right now is, as far as I'm concerned, they've entirely lost credibility. I'm not gonna, I've always tried to find Republicans that I like, and I would consider voting for them. Like I'd vote for Olympia Snowe or Lincoln Chafee over Hillary if they were running against each other. But at this point, I think I've got to take the Klanism a little more seriously, because here's the thing. Here's what I think is going on. What I'm talking about. The Republicans now, they pretend they care that the president is skeezy. They pretend to care about every little lie. They pretend to think that it's very inappropriate for Bill Clinton to meet with Loretta Lynch. They pretend they think it was inappropriate for Hillary to get information from a Ukrainian source on Paul Manafort. Which, a little asterisk there, by the way. That blew my mind, because I'd already known Manafort was well known as being a consultant associated with Russia. And when that stuff started to come out, that there was Russia stuff, it's like the snowball, the first snowflake that started the snowball was, was actually way back then. But anyway, and so the reason I think they do this with a straight face, that they would act like, Bill Clinton was too skeezy, but to be president, his lie about a blowjob was a serious lie he got impeached over. But, Donald Trump's lying about what the meeting was about and then changing his story and saying he didn't have a meeting, and his going on TV and lying about whether or not he had ever heard that Russia might be interested in Trump winning. How can they look at a straight face and say, well, these lies, those don't really count because, it didn't count to anything. It wasn't about anything important. You didn't lie about something that was illegal, da-da-da-da-da. The reason they do this with a straight face is because they think that people like me are just like them. Like, I'm going to be bothered if you go after Hillary. By all means, go after Hillary for getting the information from the Ukrainians. That's what I say. I'm a law and order American. Go after that. I'm not saying ignore it in that case, right? I'm not saying, I don't say it was okay for Clinton to lie on oath, under oath, about a blowjob that was itself not a crime. I don't say that. Go ahead. They're like, oh yeah, well if this is bad, we're going to go lock Obama and Hillary up. Go do that. Go do that. I didn't like Clinton when he was running. Go do that. Saying that lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, and he didn't do anything worse than her just means lock them both up. That's what that would mean. And you're not supposed to need our cooperation to win. Win, win, win. Give you everything you dreamed of. And I understand, too, people are like, well, if the Russians did collude with Trump, fine, that's like the Russians helping us build this wall. It's worth it. But like all people that are suckered by a con job, those Nigerians are not really going to give you that money so you can buy the operation. The reason you have for supporting him and his collusion with the Russians instead of wait, maybe a guy that would do stuff like that, maybe he's not really going to build that wall. Maybe he's not really going to stop all the immigration. Maybe he's not going to make abortion illegal. So I've overlooked these things because I said, well, it was all for the good, but it wasn't all for the good, even by your definition. And I've just had enough of that. It's so. Now I know most people think and clan think. And are group flakes, okay? But we're not all that way, right? A lot of us are not that way. And many more of us would like not to be that way if we could get out of the clannish habits, right? A lot of people they don't like groupthink either. They're stuck in it and they don't even know it, okay? But this just open... like I watched Donald Trump on Hannity last night, and Hannity spent the first 10 minutes going through about well, what about the Ukraine? And what about giving our uranium away? Which never happened, by the way. You could use Google to dig into what that story is really about. As if those crimes that cause people to go, lock her up, that if Trump does them, hello, the logical conclusion is lock him up. And he is more sloppy, so it should be easier. Sloppier criminals aren't smart enough to stop throwing gas on the flames.